Hello ladies and gents, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bernice, and if you're new here, welcome. So today I'm going to share the 5 notes that I do not like in my perfumes. Now I'm going to refer to perfumes that I have in my perfume collection and not any other perfume that I do not have. Okay. The first note is rose. I do not like rose, especially if it is in the base notes and it is done too strong. So some perfumes incorporate rose quite well in them, and you can tolerate it. You do smell it, it is floral, but it doesn't stick throughout the day. It kind of vanishes because most of the time it is in the top layer or in the middle layer. So yes, I do have a perfume that has notes, quite a few actually, but the note does not stay around for too long. It vanishes, and I think that's what I appreciate if a perfume has a note rose in there. I've seen reviews where a lot of ladies have these perfumes that are really rose dominant. I will probably not even try to buy any of those perfumes because honestly I do not want to smell like a rose flower bomb or something like that. So yes, that's the first one. And then the second one, I do not like lavender. Now, I did not mention this disclaimer, so don't be offended if your perfumes have all of these notes and then you really love them. No, do not be offended. We are all different. So I do not like lavender because lavender reminds me of detergents. It reminds me of soaps because you have soaps that have lavender in them, bleach that has lavender in them, polish with lavender. Basically at home years back, and even now we still use products, cleaning products that have lavender in them. And that reminds me of those cleaning products. If a perfume has lavender in it, I automatically think of a cleaning product, and it is very harsh. Lavender is woody, spicy, green, and it can be very harsh. But there are different types of lavenders. You have your English lavender or the French lavender. But I have one perfume that has lavender, which is the Boity Pink Sapphire. It has lavender in the middle notes, okay, which is why I think I kept it. It has lavender in the middle notes, and then that note is able to disappear before we even get to the base note. So on the base note you get left with the sugar and the tangerine and the oak moss, so the lavender vanishes, which is what I like. It should vanish. If I see it there and I spray that perfume with the lavender note initially, I can pick the lavender up. It irritates me actually, I guess because I've been using it so long in cleaning products. So some cleaning products are very harsh for in my opinion, so I associate it with that, like lavender and cleaning. So I try to stay away from perfumes that have lavender in them. Then the next note is going to be aldehydes. Now aldehydes are in almost every perfume, okay, but in small quantities, not in very large quantities. And I had recently, well, not recently, but months back, bought a Coco Mademoiselle dupe so that I can test it out to see if I really like it or not. And unfortunately I do not like it. I don't know if that one has aldehydes or not, but I would assume that it does have a lot of aldehydes in it because it's very citrusy, it's very soapy, it's very airy, and it's clean, but in an annoying way, in a very white bright way, okay. And it lasted for so long on my clothes. Every time I moved it would just wake up. So that perfume I did not use it. It's just an inspiration. Now if the original perfume smells like that, I do not think I'm going to buy the original one because it is a very bright, citrusy, very mature, vintagey perfume. Now apparently Coco Chanel number 5, is it number 5? Yes. Ernest Beau was the perfumer back then. I don't think she's still the perfumer now, probably it's years back. Correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently how the Chanel number 5 perfume came about is that she put in too much. Basically she overdosed the aldehydes in that formula, so that's why it is the way it is, okay. It is an aldehydic perfume, Now, she put 1% of the aldehyde perfume in there, and then she turned out to actually love the perfume. She said she does not think that a woman should smell like flowers, vanilla, and sweetness only, and that's why that perfume smells the way it smells like today. So they did keep the original formula, which is interesting because that perfume is very bright, so strong. It is a clean, crystal clean perfume, and for me, I think that's what kind of turns me away from not using it that much. And also the Elizabeth Taylor white diamonds, and apparently the apparel, Van Cleef and apparel, there's one perfume that has a lot of aldehyde in it. So aldehydes have been used in perfumes, but in small quantities, and then Coco Chanel No. 5 just so happens to have a large amount of aldehydes in there, and that's why the perfume is the way it is even till today. The next note is Tonka bean. Now, the Tonka bean is basically a seed that is taken from the kumaro tree, and then in the Tonka bean seed inside there's what we call coumarin, and in that coumarin, that is where you get the tobacco, spicy, cinnamony, a very sweet vanilla fragrance in that same bean. So the thing with Tonka bean is that if it is in the base note, for me, it can take a very sweet, floral, pretty perfume and it deepens it, so it makes it a bit heavy. I think that's one issue that I have, and it can be quite bitter. It's a bitter sweet, bitter sour note in there, and it does have this smokiness to it also. So if you are not a person who particularly likes such notes in a perfume, Tonka bean is going to be a bit difficult for you to wear, especially if it is in the base note, because if it is in the middle note, you can have it disappearing, and then maybe in your base note you have the vanilla, the musk, and the patchouli, some sort of mixture like that. Then it will hide the Tonka bean. But if it's right in the base note, then you know it's going to be that sharp, bitter, sour, smoky, dark, deep note in your perfume. Okay, then the next note that I think this is mainly an accord instead of a note, which is aromatics. Now, aromatics, you have your spices, cinnamon, what other spices do we have? Coriander, and it smells like lucky sticks. If it's not woody, spicy and smoky, then it kind of smells like lucky sticks. For example, the Clinique aromatics range. That range, for me, I find it very strange. It's very cinnamony, smoky, spicy, smells like a lucky stick, and I do not want to smell like I was near a fire or something like that. And there are people who like to smell like that, okay, but personally I find it very strange. But I do have a sample of it, so I've tested it out before, and I think throughout the day, as it develops, it becomes a sweet, a sweet, smoky, spicy sort of a perfume. But I don't want to smell like that personally. Maybe years from now I'll try it out, but not now specifically. So those are the 5 that I wanted to share. Basically, it was rose, lavender, aldehyde, aromatics, and Tonka bean. Those are notes that I do not like in my perfume. If you made it to this part of the video, like this video, also subscribe to my channel and leave a little comment so that we can talk. I hope you have a wonderful Monday.